So I study plants, and I've learned that they have it much harder than us. If we're hot, we can walk to the shade, or if we're thirsty, we can get a glass of water. But plants can't do that. They're stuck with what they have. So how have they grown to dominate the planet? Well, one of their strategies for success is that they grow during the most pleasant times of the year. But how do they know when those times are going to be? Well, we think that plants are able to make sense of changes to their environment. So for example, if it rains for many days in a row, then a seed knows to germinate because then the growing plant will have enough water. This field of study is called phenology. It's the study of the timing of life cycle events. It's like nature's calendar. So when do buffalo migrate? When do bird eggs hatch? When do plants bloom? And this is a hot topic in light of recent climate change. So my study focuses on how and why plant phenology and climate have changed right here in Santa Cruz County. So the story begins in the 1990s when a local botanist named Randy Morgan actually went out and did plant phenology surveys at sites here. Then I came along in 2011 and resurveyed some of those sites. Now climate during this time actually hasn't changed that much. Really the only change I've found from the 1990s until now is that nighttime isn't as cold anymore. But if you think about it, climate's different every year. So if I look at what climate was like each year when the plants began to bloom, I can look for patterns that suggest exactly what climate cues plants are using. So far, I've found that blooming times are responding to temperature. But to convince myself that I found the right cues, I did an experiment. I manipulated daytime temperature, nighttime temperature, and precipitation, and looked at how the blooming times responded. And indeed, they're responding to temperature. They're shifting earlier with warmer daytime temperatures. Finally, Randy and I surveyed hundreds of species, and this allows me to figure out how their differences in characteristics might contribute to their responses to climate. So for example, I suspect that plants that lack drought or heat-tolerant characteristics will bloom earlier with warmer daytime temperatures, because otherwise they risk drying out or overheating before they're able to reproduce. So in summary, my research has shown that climate here actually hasn't changed that much, but I'm still able to predict how the plants here might respond if it does in the future. Thank you.